Dear viewers and listeners, welcome to Radio Pakistan. You are watching and listening to News and Current Affairs channel, and we are from podcast studio. I'm host Dr. Rizwan Nasir, and we have today with us two very distinguished guests, Altaf Hussain Wani and Mrs. Shamim Shawl. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Let me begin from Mr. Altaf Hussain Wani regarding 27th of October. This is a black day in the history of Kashmir. How the Indians landed their forces into Kashmir and started snubbing them. They occupied Kashmir and started brutalities on that. At the same time, the world was watching as a witness. But I would like to invite your comment on that. Till today, it's more than 70 years. What has been done so far by the great powers, by the organizations? They have a mandate of protecting the freedom of the people who are suppressed. Even the United Nations Charter itself says that wherever there is a suppression, there should be an action invoked against them. Your comment, please.
Yes, thank you very much for having me in this show. As far as 27th of October is concerned, it's one of the darkest days in the history of Kashmir, darkest chapters in the history of Kashmir. Because when the people of Kashmir, the India and Pakistan, two sovereign nations came into existence after the partition of the subcontinent, we find that the people of the states, they were given the authority that they should either join India or Pakistan, keeping in view the geographic connectivity as well as the geographical connectivity and population.
Right.
So, keeping that in view, Kashmir should have been the part of Pakistan naturally. But unfortunately, what happened to Kashmir's Maharaja, the king, he was a Hindu, he extended a standstill agreement to Pakistan as well as to India. Pakistan agreed to that, but India did say that we need further clarification on this. But till then, Indian National Congress had already had hatched a conspiracy in Kashmir with the help of Maharani of Kashmir and other dignitaries in Kashmir. They were not willing to accede to Pakistan, advised by the All Jammu Kashmir Muslim Conference resolution on 19th of March 1947. Before Pakistan and India came into being, the people of Kashmir decided to be the part of Pakistan. So, unfortunately, under this situation, the people in the Poonch, they launched an operation against Maharaja, because Maharaja forces at that time, Maharaja ordered the Muslims of Poonch to surrender their arms to the police stations. And the people said this is going to be a double-edged sword for them. In order, on one hand, we will surrender our arms, and on the other hand, Maharaja is providing arms to the Hindus. So, it will be genocide of ours. And in the meantime, we saw genocide happening in Jammu. So, the people in Kashmir, in Poonch, they launched their indigenous struggle against Maharaja, and a part of Kashmir, which is called Azad Kashmir, it was liberated by that. And on 27th of October, what we say Black Day, India claims that Maharaja of Kashmir signed an instrument of accession on 26th of October 2016, at 1947. But unfortunately, that has remains a contentious point till date. Nobody has verified those things which are in that. So that led to this conflict. The conflict persisting for last 77 years now. India itself went to the United Nations, took the case to the United Nations on the pretext of Maharaja signing the instrument of accession. But at that time, the United Nations did not accept that plea of India that Maharaja has acceded, so India should be given a free entry to Kashmir. At that time, United Nations Security Council decided that it is the people of Kashmir who will decide their political future, not the Maharaja of Kashmir. So there should be a plebiscite in Kashmir, and then two of the resolutions by India and Commission on India and Pakistan, United Nations Commission in Pakistan, the resolutions, those set the frame for the plebiscite, how that can be held, and half of that has been implemented. We see that UN peacekeeping forces are on both sides of the line of control, though India doesn't allow them to work from 1971 onward, but on this side of line of control, they are working. So at the beginning, the bigger powers did one thing, that they did not accept the Indian plea. But over the period of time, we have seen that This world was, even at that time, Cold War started. USSR and US, these were the two countries. India was in one camp, we were in the other
All the
camp.
energies were
So
centered
one
on India.
helped us, the other remained. Sometimes they remained away from the voting and all that. But over the period of time, now we see that the parallels have changed in the international politics.
Yes, sure.
Now, United States have become the strategic partner of India, but we have our own strategic position. People cannot abandon us. They can hatch conspiracies against Pakistan, but they cannot abandon Pakistan. So, in this situation, Kashmir's conflict has remained there, and more complexities have been added to this conflict, and people have suffered more. But one thing I must say, United Nations has done so far is that despite India's huge diplomatic efforts, despite India's huge maligning Kashmiri's movement to terrorism and maligning Pakistan in it and all that, United Nations till date says Kashmir is a disputed territory and the right celebration of people of Kashmir is there. This
Right.
is one service which United Nations has done to the people of Kashmir. Otherwise, United Nations has failed to solve the question of Kashmir.
Very elaboratively, you're describing how the United Nations kept this as an unresolved issue. Like discussing this today, it is on the agenda of the United Nations till today. Now, let me move towards Mrs. Shamim Shawl. You are a human rights activist, and you know that wherever the violation of human rights takes place internationally, it is taken very seriously. Even they are babies, they are infants, children, women are raped. Such a grave violation of human rights is taking place in Kashmir. How do you describe, despite this violation, India still is saving face and still facing the world? How is it facing the world?
Thank you very much for inviting me in this program. Just I will tell you that we were in the Human Rights Council, me and Mr. Wani, and it was in September, and we did 3 important conferences, seminars there, and we invited internationally recognized organizations, and India tried his best to stop the people not to join the conference, not to speak in the seminars, but they tried to convey the message to the people that they are not safe also here, because they are threatening people worldwide, as we have seen in Canada. But unfortunately, we are getting the support from the people, because we are genuine in our case. The Kashmir this is on the United Nations agenda as a conflict, and people know that there have been more atrocities than what has been what we tell to the people, or what has been recorded, documented. Even there are no international agencies, international organizations, fact-finding missions, United Nations special rapporteurs. Nobody is there. Even the international media is not there. But it's the people of Jammu and Kashmir, especially women, who are documented the stories, who are recording these atrocities, and they are sending it to the people. And that is why when you will go through the report of the High Commissioner for Human Rights of 2019 and 18 report, you will see there that they have mentioned the atrocities of the Kunan Poshpara very seriously, and they have mentioned the widows and half widows, the orphans, and the pellet victims. And this was all every time this was said in international forums, especially in Geneva, in the Human Rights Council. That is a shameful act, that India is using power as a weapon of war against the Kashmiri women, and they are making them as a weapon of war to crush the movement, to silence the people. Although India is not getting this type of support internationally on the human rights, this structure, we will see that European Union, they have their own these constitutional bindings that they will not do the business with those countries where the record of human rights is not good. And European Union has this, I think, international binding. But unfortunately, when we say that this is a economic world, there people have their economic ties with India, and because of these business ties, and they have invested a lot in India, they are not doing much, although they are silent. But in their programs, we have seen different human rights activists belong to the different countries. We are meeting these people, what we say, diplomatic corridors, where we have heard that they have this intention that India is doing something bad with the Kashmiris. Therefore, they are not helping directly, but indirectly they are very much serious, and they are alert that whatever is going on there, we should stop India. But how they can stop, it is not discussed openly with the people. But it is an ongoing moment. We have to reach out to the people. We have to carry on these cases. We have to ask the people, especially those whom we say that they are civilized people. If they will listen to us, there will be not a big difference, but there will be a time will come. Then people, as they have come out of the streets for Gaza and Palestine, we hope that people will come to help the Kashmiris, and they will come out from their homes to help the Kashmiris, and they will listen us. But here I will say that we both, Mr. Wani and me, when we met the people, they are serious that India's presence of these forces in India, Kashmir, is not a very easy thing. It is very dangerous for the common people, how they can work, how they can go into the schools. As you have seen that the education institutions, they are affected, the women's health is affected, the children's health is affected. There is nothing for them to enjoy their life. Absolutely. Even there are not the medical centers for them where they can have this mental health is very much serious problems have been reported regarding the women, that they have these rehabilitation centers because India is not allowing the people to come there. But we have to work, and we have to get the support internationally, and for that we have to work hard together with the international organizations, and we are doing that.
Thanks for sharing all that. You gave the references from the United Nations Charter as well, like how the human rights are being violated. Let me turn towards Mr. Altaf Hussain Wani. Regarding India claims that it is the largest democracy in the world, and being democracy, it believes in the ideals of democracy. When we look at the elections in Kashmir, India never left a chance to manage it. It always is engineered. India wants to make a government which speaks India's mouthpiece, actually, to not represent the Kashmiris in letter and spirit. My question to you is that if India is playing this or staging this drama to the rest of the world, elections have taken place in Kashmir, now a new government has come, how to counter this kind of all the propaganda, how to counter this, how the Kashmiris can come forward and tell this is not a representative government?
You see, about the elections in Kashmir, as United Nations resolutions on Kashmir state that no elections in Indian occupied Kashmir or in any part of Kashmir are substitute to the plebiscite. It's UN resolution I think 22 of 1957, when all the Constitutional Assembly, so-called Constitutional Assembly, which was convened in occupied Kashmir, they said that the accession with India is final. At that time, Pakistan went to the United Nations Security Council, and Security Council came up with this resolution that these elections, this Constitutional Assembly cannot decide on behalf of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Earlier, in 1951, when all Jammu Kashmir Muslim National Conference Executive Committee decided, passed the resolution, that resolution was also not held up by the UN Security Council. So these elections are not the substitute to the what we say the plebiscite in Kashmir. As far as how Kashmiris say, this has been displayed. As I earlier told you, that even these days, not in United Nations, everywhere, it has been conveyed to the India by different forces that elections held in Kashmir are good, but these are not substitute to the plebiscite. These elections will create more and more problems in Kashmir, bloodshed in Kashmir, the way you are confiscating the lands of the Kashmir, the way you are giving more and more domiciles to people of Kashmir. This is not going to settle the issue of Kashmir. This is going to aggravate it. The problem lies in a peaceful resolution of Kashmir between India, Pakistan, and people of Kashmir. That's the best solution, and the implementation of UN resolutions, that is the paramount to the resolution of Kashmir.
I would like to invite your short comment on this. Pakistan has been an ardent supporter of Kashmir all the times, and Pakistan raised the issue at every forum. Uh, Despite that, Pakistan kept it on the agenda everywhere. What extra needs to be done that this leads towards automatically towards its resolution? Your comment, please.
Look at this, that Pakistan was always very soft.
Right.
Fortunately or unfortunately, whenever we saw that they are going to have the talks between India and Pakistan, Pakistan always invited India to come to sit on the table and negotiate whatever we have to decide on the table. For example, it is a bilateral. Let us start from the bilateral, but it was never bilateral. It was always the Kashmir was on the is and was and will be in future the important party, and they have to decide their future. But one thing Pakistan has to do is that they have to make it a very aggressive, because India is not listening the soft language. India is not listening what people are demanding. India is not listening the peaceful means. But India is doing what they want, as being might is right. He's a power and he can crush the movement. Therefore, Pakistan has to be very aggressive at the diplomatic level,
All right.
and that the dossiers which are available, they should be distributed every day, every time to the diplomatic corridors, so that they will compel India to come to the negotiation.
Very well said. Very well said. The dossiers should be distributed, and it causes compulsion for India to come to this terms. Altaf Hussain, Wani Sahab, one short sentence. How do you see that? What extra needs to be done?
So the extra, I think the extra thing is one, that we have to invest in what we say the intellectual outlook in the international arena. Because our international students, our international scholars from Pakistan, from Kashmir, we need to take them on board, and they have to create spaces at the international level for the people of Kashmir.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much for coming to the show, Mrs. Shamim Shawl Saiba, Mr. Altaf Hussain Wani. Thank you very much for being on the show. Viewers and listeners, I was your host, Dr. Rizwan Nasir, and you were listening and watching this show on 27th of October, Black Day, that the Indian landed their forces in Kashmir. So stay tuned. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.